During the College World Series in Omaha, you might see business vendors advertising their products in the Capital District and around downtown. Amid the flyers for the Buffalo Wild Wings tent and the free energy drinks from the Red Bull Girls are pamphlets from local social working organizations informing the public about the warning signs of human trafficking. Having attended major sporting events and appealed to research on this topic, I've experienced an increased public fear of trafficking as well as read the inconclusive statistics about whether trafficking rates truly do increase during these events. While many believe that human trafficking rates experience an uptick during major sporting events, evidence on this claim is scarce and often inconclusive. While prostitution still occurs during these events and is unlikely to cease, more efforts should be allocated to ensuring the activity is both voluntary and safe. With the spring semester moving along quickly, we find ourselves again racing towards summer and the CWS. This means we will again be hearing and seeing news regarding the projected influx of human trafficking at the greatest show on dirt. We will all need to know the warning signs of trafficking, but should we all be as scared of trafficking as we have been told to be? I'm going to be taking a deeper dive into the issue and looking for some solutions that are feasible and effective. There is a misconception that people need to be focused on the act of people being taken into human trafficking rings during sporting events instead of focusing on a larger issue. It's not that women are taken from sporting events, but that women and children who are being trafficked are taken to the sporting events for the business uproar. Thousands of people flock to these areas, causing a large number of trafficked women and children to be brought against their will by the people who control them to these places. In 2013, in volume 208 of America Magazine, they wrote, "Experts estimate that for Super Bowl 44 in Miami, ironically won by the Saints, about 10,000 prostitutes descended on South Florida." While I was looking for the data of people being taken during sporting events, it was scarce compared to the amount of coverage on the already captured women being dragged to these events. E. Bonthuis wrote in 2012 for the Journal of Southern African Studies that several interviewees estimated that 40,000 foreign sex workers would be trafficked into the country, similar to the 40,000 sex workers who were claimed to have been trafficked into Germany at the 2006 World Cup. So how do we help these people? In order to combat the mistreating and abuse against these women and children and to prevent disease, there are some actions that need to be taken. One solution would be opening up the options for workers' rights for the women. Opening these people up to government help would allow for better ability to get them what they need and to take them out of the hands of criminals. During that same piece for the Journal of Southern African Studies, Bonthuis said, "Sex workers wanted to be protected from violent clients and pimps, and from assault, harassment, repeated arrest, and even rape by police officers." Moreover, they argued that legalization of the profession would allow sex workers to protect themselves from HIV infection and to expose illegal and exploitative practices like trafficking or underage sex work in the sex industry. The effectiveness of a policy like this has been implemented and seen in other areas around the world. In 2013, Willamette Law Review piece, J.R. Rayburn writes, "In 2000, the rate of infection from AIDS and STDs from legal prostitutes in Nevada was zero. This evidence shows that by allowing the women access to proper care and placing policies for workers' rights for them, the spread of disease from prostitution had stopped." Another solution would be to make it illegal for the clients of the sex workers and not for the sex workers. This diminishes demand and would in turn make the sex market unfavorable for human traffickers. In 2007, S. Batsyukova argued this point for the 24th volume of Gender Issues. She said, "Only clients are criminalized and not prostitutes. Prostitutes are considered as victims of violence. By exercising these regulatory measures, Swedish government was able to significantly reduce demand for prostitution and make Swedish sex market unattractive for international traffickers." These ideas are not new ones, they are just ones that not everyone has realized are the best way to help these poor people who are suffering every day. We need everyone to be on board to make it work. So to sum it all up, it can be seen that the major issue around human trafficking at sporting events is not so much people attending them being taken, although that is an issue, but more so the exploitation of thousands of women and children who are already subjected to that abuse and control. While many believe that human trafficking rates experience an uptick during major sporting events, evidence on this claim is scarce and often inconclusive. One of these actions would be to legalize prostitution, either during these large sporting events or even better altogether. This would allow for sex working to be regulated. While prostitution still occurs during these events and is unlikely to cease, more effort should be allocated to ensuring the activity is both voluntary and safe. Countries should work together to figure out the best way that they can combat the mistreating of these women. One way would be to legalize prostitution around these big sporting events. Another would be to criminalize clients and not workers in order to reduce the demand. Either way, something needs to be done and done fast because right now, Hundreds of thousands of women and children are being held and forced to do unspeakable things. The change needs to happen now.